somewhere around here.
The 20th of September, Rabbi Furst, Parsha Hashavua with Rashi, Savo.
All right. Good morning. This is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here in Yerushalayim Kiryat Zoom. This is our, as Lou mentioned, our Erev Shabbos here in Chumash and Rashi. And as Hashem, we'll begin now. The pasuk I want to begin with is Come
on, see. He's a little bit too noisy.
Yeah. So begin with in the beginning of Perek Chav Ches 28. Perek Chav Ches 28.
Close the door though. Yes, I will.
That's 20 off Yud. What's that? Oh no, off side. Oh, that's 28. Of his, right, at the beginning of his.
Yes, at the very beginning. That's correct. That's correct. Okay. Anyone like to begin reading?
We're in Kafres Aleph.
Yes.
Okay, Roy, you want to read?
I can't find the beginning. Oh, here it is. All right then. Vaya im shema tishma b'kol Hashem Elohecha lishma la'asos es kol mitzvosov asher Anochi Matzavecha Hayom Unesonecha Hashem Elohecha Elyon Al Kol Goyim Ha'oretz. And it shall come to pass that if you will hearken diligently to the voice of the Eternal our God, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Eternal thy God will set them supreme above all nations of the earth.
Okay. Let's see. The Rashi's here.
No, Rashi doesn't start until
Dalet. We need to get the Dalet right.
Bo'u alecha kol habarachos ha'ele v'hisigucha ki sishma b'kol Hashem Elohecha Baruch atah ba'ir u'baruch atah b'sodeh. And that is David. Baruch peri bit necha uferi admoslecha uferi behem techa v'shageh alafecha v'ashtaros sonecha. So we do his commandments this day. I'll set you above the nations of the earth, and all these blessings shall come on on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the eternal thy God. Blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field. And 4, blessed shalt thou it shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy beasts, those dropped by thy meat, and breeds of thy flock. Those dropped
Right.
by
So here the questions asked that all these brachas, these are brachas. If you look at these brachas and some of the ones that follow, these are all things which are rooted in physical matters, right?
Right.
That the brachas that the Torah is giving are brachas that are relevant to olam hazeh, right? That you would think that the Torah would talk about Gan Eden, the Tiyas HaMesim, Olam Haba, right? All these various different wonderful things which we hope and pray for, that we should be able to have the ultimate experience of Ruchnius, right? But none of these brachas have anything to do with Ruchnius, right? So the the basic answer, I think there are more than several answers to this question, because it's a basic question that needs to be addressed. Um, don't you think, Lou? Don't you think that's a basic question that has to be addressed?
Well, even more so, there's no reward for a mitzvah in this world.
Right. So that could be one of the answers, right? That could be one of the answers, right? But there are definitely rewards in Olam Haba for the mitzvahs, correct?
Excuse me,
Right.
what is your question?
I'm sorry, what, Roy?
What is the actual question?
Question is, when you if you do a brief analysis of these brachas, right?
Yes.
All these blessings which shall come upon us, right? Im shamor tishmul b'kol Hashem Elokecha, you'll listen to a Kadosh Baruch Hu's voice, his commands. Lishmor Allah, so says kol mitzvos Hashem Anochi mitzavcha yom. All these things will occur because of our listening to Hashem and following his commandments, correct? So all these things are Gashmias, right? If you go through the psukim, all these things are based on materialism. Seems very strange. First of all, that we would expect that there be some kind of a mention of a reward for the mitzvahs that we would receive, Gan Eden, Tchis HaMesim, right? All the things in Olam Haba and Lasad Lobo that are supposed to be accruing to us. No mention of those things whatsoever. And secondarily, perhaps this was what Lou was intimating, is that does this seem to be a reward for the mitzvahs in Olam Hazeh, which we're taught in various places in the Chazal, Pirkei Avos amongst them, that there's Skar B'Hayo Maleka. There's no reward for a mitzvah in this world, right? Except, as we discussed many times, a mitzvah gereris mitzvah. That's really a spiritual reward. So the basic question is, why is the Torah devoid of all spiritual rewards? Right? Seems to not at all be concerned about telling us about spiritual rewards. And conversely, why are all these rewards that seem to be accruing to us based in the physical?
Mm-hmm.
So those are two basic questions.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't find it. I don't find it strange.
okay. You can explain. I'm listening. I'm listening. Go ahead.
When you say when I say I wish you good health, that's a blessing. That's a physical. It's in this world. It's normal to say, or hatzlacha or something like that. That's all. That's physical. Or I hope your renovations go well. It's all that sort of physical. That's all normal stuff. And then you can say, you can even say, I hope that Hashem helps you with this or that. You could put it in the form of an actual blessing. Sort of the beginning of it, the usual beginnings of a blessing, and put in that you go well with your exams.
Right, but I mean, doesn't it seem painfully obvious that the Torah seems to be ignoring all mention of any spiritual rewards at all?
All throughout the Torah.
Well, this is the main point where this is the main source of our knowledge of what Hashem's going to dispose upon us. I mean, it's mentioned in various different places. This is where it's most concentrated.
In Savo.
Actually, can't we say, Rabbi, that really throughout the whole Torah, the Torah doesn't talk about Lom Haba?
Right. There's no specific mention no open mention of Olam Haba. There's no specific mention of Tchias Amesim. All these very vital parts of our belief are not specifically stated in the Torah. So that's a general question, right? Why isn't it in general mentioned?
Okay, then let's say then let's agree that for the purposes of continuing, let's agree that it is a question and it is sort of strange.
Okay.
All right.
Let me emphasize this a little bit more. Yeah, since we're getting close to Rosh Hashanah, do you have your Machzirim close to you for Rosh Hashanah? If we haven't started already, it's worthwhile reviewing the prayers for Rosh Hashanah. You know, the more we put into preparing ourselves for Rosh Hashanah, the more we'll be able to get out of it.
Okay, excuse me, I'll get the Machzirim.
Okay, where do you want me to look?
You can look right there in Ma'ariv, beginning all the basic prayers are formatted at the beginning. Towards the beginning of the Shemona Esrei could start with the Ma'ariv. It's all the same for all the Tefillas throughout.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Mari for the first day.
First day Rosh Hashanah Ma'ariv. First day Rosh Hashanah Ma'ariv.
Ma'ariv,
The Shemona Esrei.
the Shemona Esrei, first Ma'ariv.
That's right.
Mincha for Erev. Mincha for Erev Rosh Hashanah.
Let's see, Mariv, both nights.
Oh, Mari, right. And you want, and we want what? We want
And the Shemona Esrei?
yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So it starts off like regular avos, right?
Right?
You know, like hey Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov.
Mhm.
Then in the middle of that that first bracha, we have to add the lines Zachreinu l'chaim melech hafetz b'chaim Chazreinu b'sefer chaim laman ve'elokim chaim. And so
Right.
now, first of all, can I ask you a question? What kind of chaim are we praying for here? We're praying for a materialistic, physical life or spiritual life?
Physical.
So
We're saying
hold on.
die. We want to live this year. We don't want to die.
So we're asking for physical life, right?
Right.
Mhm.
And now, just relevant to right now, this very moment, we should realize that we have a lot to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Last year, Rosh Hashanah, and his Saras Medei Tshuva Yom Kippur, we were saying these words, right? Zacheinu l'chaim melech hachafetz b'chaim, chazveinu b'sefer chaim lamancha elokim chaim. And you know what? Baruch Hashem. Hashem has apparently answered our prayers, no?
Absolutely.
We have a lot to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for. Look at that. We're just what is it, 2 weeks? 2 weeks before Rosh Hashanah. 2 weeks short of the completion of the year that we were asking for life. And apparently, Baruch Hashem has granted us life. We should take some time out during the next 2 weeks to at least in some way thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We can never properly thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right, for all that he's done for us, simply keeping us alive. It's impossible to a human to, in any way, shape, or form, to completely fulfill all he owes at HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even for one moment of life, let alone a year of life and a lifetime of life. But we should at least think about it and realize a great deal of gratitude to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is what we were praying for, and in fact, it seems to be that he has fulfilled our wishes. Right? He's listened to our prayers and fulfilled our prayers. So then we go on, then we say Magen Avraham. We finish that bracha Magen Avraham. Then we go into the next bracha Tagibur Le'olam, and that's the bracha of L'chaim Mesim, and we add into that a special edition Michamocha Avrachmim Zocher Yitzura L'chaim Barachmim. Right, and again we think about what we owe HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that he in fact has, kept us alive, and we ask that continue. And then we go into
That seems a little bit contradictory, because
in what way?
you could say, okay, we started out with the physical, but then we progressed into something more spiritual. We're talking about Nechei Hamasim. And then we get plunged right back into the physical. L'chaim Barach.
Right.
You would think that it would be Michamocha Avrachamim who resuscitates the dead, or who gives us eternal life, or something like that.
Right. So that's a good point. When we say Zocher Yitzur L'chaim Rachamim, since his bracha is inserted in the bracha of Tchias HaMesim, is this perhaps a prayer for Tchias HaMesim that we are adding during the Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and Saras Medei Tshuva davening?
Could it be it's Chaim in the world to come, you mean?
Could be. Zokei Yitzura, L'chaim Barachimim. I'm not sure. I'm in doubt about it myself right now.
The only reason I say no is because of the previous one, where we're
Right.
presuming that it says life, Chaim, the book of life. We're assuming that refers to physical life.
Right.
So you would think that it's similar here, but maybe not.
Possibly, but I'm not sure if it's bound to. I'm not sure if it's bound to be included because of what was stated previously.
Right. And with this whole idea of the book of life, I've never understood. What is this book? There's no book. What are we supposed to understand from the fact that it says the book?
Right. It's simply a way for us to understand it. You're right. There's no real book. It's simply a way for us to approach it. I'll tell you on this particular subject. Let me give you an insight to something that occurred to me within the last week or so. That probably that a person, because I'll tell us that a person, when he leaves this world, as he's leaving this world, his whole life flashes before him, right? And he's shown his whole life. And well, again, when a person leaves this world, then time ceases to exist. So, but his life is there before him. So, I had a very interesting occurrence. I forgot. Someone had sent me something, some kind of a link, to some kind of a video of sorts that they thought I'd be interested in. And so I got myself tuned into a YouTube site of some sort, right? So on that site, you had the main screen, which is basically the thing he wanted me to look at. Then on the right side pane of the screen was a whole series of small little screens with all kinds of different topics, right? Right. And so when I saw this before my eyes, I said, "Wow, this is a analogy for what Chazal are talking about." You know, you think, how can I possibly experience all the things I've done, said, thought in the course of my life and instantaneously? But there you are. It was in almost in living color. All these various different clips of various different things, all kinds of different topics, and videos of all kinds of things. And there they were. They were all there. And so it's not so hard to imagine that when a person passes from this world, he's going to get a replay of all the things he's done, said, and thought through the course of his life. So, you're right. There's no real book, but for us to be able to relate to it, we need to relate to things. The Sefer Chavos HaLevavos explains that we use these words because these are words that we can understand. It can't be communicated to us the actual mitzias, the actual existence of what exists in the spiritual worlds. It's not. We're not capable of understanding those things, and it's beyond our realm of experience. So how are you going to communicate to somebody who's in a different realm of experience, right? Something that you're experiencing? You only can do that through things they understand. The Sefer Chavos HaLevavos says it gives a mashal. You want to let's say I have a herd of cows. You ever see a herd of cows? You don't have to have a big herd, maybe 20 cows, 20 cows, right? So you want to move the cows from this field to that field, right?
Right.
So you go down, you're maybe you're on your cowboy, you're on your horse. So you get on your horse and you're in the by the herd there, and you say to the cows, forward march.
You say what?
Forward march.
And the cow says, moo.
Right? That's exactly right. The cow looks at you and says, what do you want? Lunch? What are you interested in? Forward march. You say again, forward march. Cow doesn't relate to forward march, does it?
Nope.
What does cow know about forward march? Right?
Yeah.
So, what was that?
You say, yeah.
Oh, so now you're talking their language, right? Now you're talking their language,
That's right.
right?
Get your doggies,
So-
doggies.
That's right.
Okay.
So look, isn't forward march a much more clear statement of what you want from the cow?
Yep.
But the cow can't relate to that. Cow can't relate to those words,
Right.
right? So you give out some scream, some kind of sound wave that it can relate to, right? You give out some kind of noise that it can relate to. So
Right.
likewise, when this is Kasvenu b'Sefer HaChaim, write us in the book of life. So I understand those words. Those words mean something to me, right? If we had any different type of a description of what and where and how Kadosh Baruch was evaluating us, we wouldn't be able to relate to it. Just like a cow can't relate to forward march, right?
Right.
So these are just analogies which are given to us to try and approximate in some very small way what's taking place. So we should be able to relate to it and therefore integrate it into our thoughts and into our emotions in a proper way that we can live our lives accordingly. Know with this knowledge, we're trying to impart certain knowledge. Yeah, like that the person's gets stopped by a cop and he takes out his pad and he takes out his pen. He starts writing a summons. So a person can relate to that, right? It's being written down in the book. You're being summoned. You're being fined by the cop. So we can relate to that. So we're being written down in the Sefer HaChaim, so we can relate to that. So they're just analogies to help us try and relate to it properly, so we can make some positive use of the knowledge and the events that are occurring to us during Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So now we go into the Atat Kadosh, and now we make a complete interruption. And here you see the V'chein Tein. Take a look. I want to take a look at these things. Let's read them. Lou or Roy, you would like to read these V'chein Teins?
ובכן תן פשטך תחתך השם אלוקינו על כל מעשיך ועמוסך על כל מה שבראש ויראוך כל המעשים, וישתחוו לפניך כל הברואים, no, finish that paragraph. ויעשו כולם אגודה אחת לעשות רצונך בלבב שלם, כמו שידענו השם אלוקינו שהשלטון לפניך, אז בידך ובגבורו במינך, ושמך נערה על כל מה שברצה. And so too, Hashem, God, instill your awe upon all your works and all your dread upon all you have created. Awe and dread. Let all works revere you, and all creatures prostrate themselves before you. Let them all become a single society to do your will wholeheartedly. For as we know, Hashem, our God, that the dominion is yours, might is in your hand, strength is in your right hand, and your name inspires awe over all that you have created.
They can go to the next one as well.
Overpain 10 Kavod Hashem La'amecha Tehila L'Ra'echa V'Sikva Telva L'Darasecha Ufis Techon Pe Lamiyachayim Lach Simcha L'Arsecha V'Sasan L'Recha Usamichas Keri L'Dor Avtecha Va'arya Riches now Levain Yishay Meshichecha Bimheira V'Yomeinu. And so to Hashem, grant honor to your people, praise to those who revere you, good hope to those who seek you, and eloquent speech to those who hope to you, gladness to your land, and joy to your city, flourishing pride to David, your servant, and preparation of a lamp for the son of Jesse, your anointed, speedily in our days. Speedily in our days. Uvachain Sedikim Yero Vayismachu Vishorim Vachasidim Barina Yogilu Va'alaso Tikpot here. V'chol harashah kala na'asov tichle kit sava mema sheles down min haaretz. And so too the righteous will see and be glad, the upright will exult, and the devout will be mirthful with the glad song. Iniquity will close its mouth, and all wickedness will evaporate like smoke. When you will remove evil's dominion, from the earth.
So actually, we've gone a few minutes over. So I just want to leave you with this question. If you want, we can pick this up in the beginning of next week also. Look, and if you have a chance, look over these 3 paragraphs again, and are these things that we're mentioning here in these 3 paragraphs having to do with Olam Hazeh or Olam Haba? Or maybe both.
Mhm.
So, as I said, we're a few minutes over time, so I don't want to go further. So I'll leave you with that question. Think about it, and we can discuss it a little bit more next week if you like.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay, then.
Okay.
Have a good Shabbos.
Thank you. Do a good Shabbos as well. Thank you, Lou. Thank you, Roy. You should be well in your families and everyone in Klal Yisrael. Hope to see you next week.
Good Shabbos.
Be well. Thank you. Shalom. Be well. Shalom. Bye.